They called her jacket fake before they ever learned her name. They laughed, flicked a lighter, and watched the fabric burn while she stood still in the courtyard of the training base. Every smirk froze later that afternoon when the same woman they mocked walked onto the stage wearing a polished uniform and a rank that towered above them all. She was the new Admiral, and they had no idea. What city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe for more real stories about extraordinary people. Her name was Maya Rourke, a 31-year-old combat strategist known in classified circles as the Falcon of Meridian. To the outside world, she looked like a quiet transfer officer with a worn canvas jacket and a simple bag slung over her shoulder. She arrived at North Lake Naval Base with no introduction. That was intentional. The Defense Committee wanted her to observe the culture of the base without revealing her identity. She preferred it that way. The courtyard buzzed with recruits and officers preparing for inspection week. Maya moved toward the briefing hall, calm and focused. The sun hit her faded jacket, the one she had carried through war zones, humanitarian missions, and storm rescues. It was more than clothing. It was history. Yet to anyone else, it looked old. 3 junior officers noticed her right away. Their uniforms were crisp, their boots spotless. They whispered to each other, pointing at her jacket as she passed. She heard them, but kept walking. She had learned long ago that silence often showed more discipline than reacting. The officers stepped in front of her near the training mats. Their leader, a tall man with sharp features, crossed his arms and smirked. "That jacket looks counterfeit," he said. "You must be new. Or broke." Maya kept her posture straight. "It is only a jacket," she answered. "Then you will not mind if we help you get rid of it," another said. Before she could speak, one of them grabbed the sleeve and held a lighter beneath it. Flames flickered across the fabric. The courtyard erupted with scattered laughter and gasps. Maya did not flinch. She removed the jacket and let it fall to the ground. Her expression stayed calm, which unsettled them more than anger ever could. An older chief petty officer rushed forward. "What are you doing?" he barked. "Are you out of your minds?" The young officers shrugged. "It was just a joke," one muttered. The chief stared at Maya, trying to understand her stillness. "Ma'am." "Are you all right?" he asked. "I am fine," she said. "Focus on your duties." Word of the incident spread quickly. Some recruits whispered that the new woman must be weak to let something like that happen. Others felt uneasy, sensing that there was more to her than she allowed them to see. Maya walked to the barracks office and signed the documents she needed for her official introduction later that day. The base commander had not yet arrived, and most personnel still had no idea who the new admiral was. She kept her temporary appearance simple and quiet. Meanwhile, the 3 officers bragged in the mess hall about their prank. They claimed they were teaching a lesson to someone who did not belong. They never expected the lesson to return to them in a way they could never forget. At 4 in the afternoon, all personnel were ordered to gather in the main assembly hall. The announcement stated that a new admiral was taking command of strategic operations. The room filled with hundreds of uniforms, each pressed to perfection. The 3 young officers stood near the front, still confident and unaware. A staff captain stepped onto the podium. "Attention," he called out. "Please stand for Admiral Maya Rourke." Silence washed through the hall as Maya entered. She was no longer wearing the burned jacket. She wore the full admiral's uniform, marked with service ribbons and the unmistakable silver stars that commanded nations. The same officers who mocked her earlier stiffened like statues. Their eyes widened. Their breaths caught. The hall seemed to shrink around them. Maya stepped forward with steady confidence. "Many of you saw me earlier today," she began. "I arrived unannounced to understand the character of this base. I wanted to see how we treat those we know nothing about." The officers who burned her jacket stared at the floor. Their confidence evaporated. "In leadership," she continued, "rank is not the first measure of honor. Character is. Respect is. Integrity is." Whispers filled the hall. Even seasoned officers shifted in discomfort. Maya looked directly at the three men. Those who carry arrogance wear the heaviest burden. You represent more than yourselves. You represent this uniform, this base, and the trust of a nation. A training captain stepped beside her, his voice stern. The three officers involved will face immediate disciplinary review. The entire hall knew the message. Their new admiral was not one to overlook disrespect or injustice. Later that evening, Maya walked to the courtyard where the remains of her jacket still lay. The fabric was charred, yet a small embroidered emblem survived on one sleeve. It was the mark of the Meridian Rescue Unit, a group that had saved countless lives during coastal disasters. A young recruit approached her quietly. "Admiral, I heard what happened," he said. "I wanted to say I am sorry for how they treated you." "You have nothing to apologize for," she replied. "I just wanted you to know that not everyone here is like that." Maya smiled gently. "I know. That is why I'm here. A base becomes stronger when every member learns the value of respect." The recruit nodded and walked away with a sense of pride. Maya held the surviving patch in her hand, feeling the weight of memory. She knew her role was not only to command, but to guide, to shape the culture, and to remind them all that strength did not come from rank. It came from character. The fire that destroyed her jacket was nothing compared to the fire she carried inside her. It was the fire of discipline, resilience, and compassion. A fire that no lighter could extinguish. What did this story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.